So you probably hear me talk about ballet quite often if you've been here for even just a second. And you've also probably heard me talk about how I actually quit ballet. Yet what I don't talk enough about is like what I'm doing now. So like when I quit, what did that transition look like? Because if you're a dancer, you probably know that it's a hard transition. Dancing becomes your entire identity. You become Sarah the dancer. And so what does that, career shift actually look like? We're gonna talk about that today. Hello, it's Sarah. Welcome to my cozy corner. Well, actually, this is not a corner at all. It's actually not even cozy. This chair is quite uncomfortable, but I am wearing fuzzy socks. I don't know if you can see them in the camera. And so, hopefully that counts for something. I'm feeling really goofy today because honestly, I tried to record this video like 3 times. The first time it came out totally blurry. The second time somebody called me in the middle, and then the third time my phone died. So 4th time's a charm. We're gonna leave that behind us and talk about the joys of ballet and life after ballet. So like I said, when you are a dancer, whether professional or pre-professional or whatever you do, if it's something that you're doing often, it kind of becomes your identity. It becomes a part of you, and it can be really, really hard to let that go. And I do talk about this topic all the time about leaving ballet and what that looks like and how that transition is and whatever. But specifically today, I want to talk about my journey after ballet. What I do now, what my life looks like now, and even some dancing opportunities and ways that I've stayed connected to the dancing world after I left the dancing world. Now, contrary to popular belief, talking to you about my ballet stories is not my full-time job. Back in 2021, beginning of 2021, when I first left the dance world, I actually started my own business. And so it is a social media marketing business, and I'm a social media manager. I really don't want to get too much into my social media manager journey in this video because, to be honest, I have a whole other YouTube channel where I talk about that stuff. I recently made a video about how I became a social media manager, literally from beginning to end. So if you're interested in learning that side of me, or if you just want to see Instagram tips, social media tips, things like that, I'm gonna leave the channel link in the description so that you can check it out. I promise you're gonna walk away from any of those videos learning something that you didn't know already. So I highly suggest that if you're interested in that stuff, you go ahead and check it out. But yes, basically when I decided to make the decision to leave ballet, I jumped right into starting my own business. Obviously, it wasn't a simple transition, so let's take it back a couple of steps, okay? While I was dancing, specifically in my last year as a full-time professional dancer, I started to dabble in different things that I might be interested in. And one of those things in particular was social media. I always knew that I enjoyed posting for my friends, I guess, but I never really thought that social media could be a business. Every once in a while, I would run Instagram accounts for my family that had restaurants and things like that, but I never ever thought that I could turn it into my full-time career. But while I was dancing, my mom encouraged me to get a college degree because she figured, I know you want to be a dancer, Sarah, but just in case, you should probably get a degree, whatever. And so I did. And she was the one who urged me to go into marketing because they had a direction where I could get a minor in social media marketing. And she was like, Sarah, that sounds like something that you would love. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to be a dancer anyways. So I don't need this, but whatever, let me do it. Let me do it, it's fine. Turns out my mom knew my future career before I did. But either way, I was doing little social media things here and there, partnering up with brands and promoting products on my page and all that sort of stuff. And so when I left the ballet world, I already knew that I enjoyed doing that. And I was trying to figure out a way to make this a sustainable career for me. And so I just attempted to jump right into it. I applied to a million different positions. I ended up getting a part-time position with a social media marketing company, and the owner of it is now one of my closest friends. But just having that part-time experience was so helpful to me, especially because as a dancer at the time, I was barely getting paid anything. And so now that I was making some sort of money, I at least felt a little more comfortable with actually leaving. Again, I really don't want to get too much into my social media management journey because I do have that entire video where I lay out exactly how I got to where I am today with running a full-blown agency, which is so crazy to me. Still cannot believe that this is my life. It's so wild. But what I want to really touch on is how I was able to stay connected to the arts even after leaving. Because here's the thing, right? You can try as hard as you want to run away from the dance world. But the reality is that it's still a part of you. Like, you still have that piece in your heart that's like, you know that you were always a dancer. And for so long, I really tried to like leave it in the past, but I had to realize that, it's okay to stay connected to the arts. Like, if it's something that you love, it's hard to just like let it go completely. And so I want to touch on a couple of different ways that I've stayed connected to the arts even after leaving my career as a full-time dancer. The first way is through performance opportunities that I got after leaving my career, which is wild. Probably the craziest of the bunch was in December 2021, which was 11 months after I officially quit ballet. I was invited by my old ballet school director to do Sugar Plum Fairy in their Nutcracker. Long story short, the Sugar Plum Fairy from New York City Ballet wasn't able to do it, and so he needed someone like quick. And honestly, when he called me, I almost freaked out. I was like, you understand, right, that I like haven't put on pointe shoes in 11 months? Like, is that cool with you? He was like, no, it's gonna be fine. Like, I'll train you, we'll get back to it. And I was just like, okay, trust the process, you know what I'm saying? But because I was open-minded to it and wasn't afraid to step back into that role of ballerina, I had an amazing experience. I feel like I should make an entire video of my experience dancing in a professional role after quitting ballet, because it was such a different, even just the mindset of it, like of dancing again after so long, was so different. It was honestly my favorite performance probably ever. Not only did I get to dance Balanchine's Sugar Plum, which was like my dream since I was like a child, but I also got to do the pas de deux with one of my partners, my best friends from Miami City Ballet. He was in Memphis at the time, and so I got to like go do rehearsals with him out in Tennessee and then come back to New York, and then we performed together, and it was just such an amazing experience and such a memorable, I guess, retirement role. That sounds so dumb, but like it was my last performance of like professional ballet ever, at least to date. So my biggest takeaway is like, don't be afraid to say yes to opportunities, even if you're like, oh, but like I stopped dancing, I can't do that anymore. You never know. I mean, I was able to do it. You could do it too. On that same note, I had some other performance opportunities with contemporary works, which was so much fun. One of my first ever dance teachers invited me to do this like outdoor performance where it was like an arts festival. So there was, poetry and musicians and singers and artists and all this different stuff. And it was so amazing to connect with people in the art world again. Like, again, if I had been closed off to these opportunities, then I wouldn't have been able to reconnect with myself in that way, if that makes sense. Another way that I've stayed connected is through teaching. And a lot of former dancers go on to become dance instructors because of the fact that dancing does mean so much to us. Even if you stop doing it every single day as your career, you can still help the future generations of potential professional ballet dancers or dancers in general. And so teaching has been something that I don't do very often, if I'm being honest with you, but it's been an awesome way to reconnect with dancing and with students and putting a big smile on kids' faces. Like, it's just so cute. And so if you are thinking of leaving dancing, teaching is 100% a great option. I'm always a fan of that. I think it's such a good idea. Okay, repositioning. I can't sit in the same spot for too long. It makes me feel boring. One other way that I was able to stay connected to the dance world was by taking dance classes. And no, I don't take ballet classes because, I don't know, I left the ballet world. I don't feel like I want to take any more ballet classes. I don't know, just personal thing. But I have used this opportunity to take classes that I probably would have never been able to take had I been dancing like 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. And one of those classes that I was taking recently with a couple friends was pole dancing, which honestly, so much harder than you might think. I always think that like as a professionally trained dancer, I could just like do anything. Like, oh yeah, that can't be too hard. But pole dancing is like a whole nother level. Like I give so much credit to anybody who's a pole dancer because like, wow, it is hard. But trying new styles of dance, I think is always a great idea because it's like, just because you stopped in this style doesn't mean that you can't reconnect your love for dancing in another way. And just taking classes for fun is totally fine. You don't need to be a professional dancer in order to continue dancing. That was like a huge lesson that I had to learn, and honestly, it's so true. And the last way that I'm personally able to stay connected to dancing is through social media. Now, obviously, I talk about dancing on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, TikTok. But I'm not even just talking about that, because my job, my business, is social media management. And one of my clients is actually my former ballet school. And so, of course, I was always the one who was on stage in the ballet productions. And now I'm able to be behind the scenes marketing these ballet productions, getting butts in the seats. And it's a whole new experience, but allows me to stay connected to the dance world in a way that I would have never imagined that I would be involved. Just like I mentioned with teaching, a lot of dancers stay involved in the arts even if they don't do it as their like full-time career anymore. Things like joining the marketing department, or joining the costume team, or doing stage design or lighting, or all these things allow you to stay part of the community without having it be your full-time career as dancing every single day. It has been such an amazing experience just to be on the marketing end of a ballet school and a ballet company, to see how it all works. Like, it's such a special thing for me because it does allow me to stay connected to my roots as a dancer while also excelling in what I love now, which is social media management. And so again, I encourage you to just stay open-minded. You never know the opportunities that are going to come to you. And if you immediately shut them down because, I'm not dancing anymore, I don't want to get involved in the arts, I don't want to do this anymore, then you might miss out on some opportunities that could have been amazing. Anyways, I think I've said enough about this. Again, if you want to learn more about my social media management journey and what my career looks like now, I do have that entire video on my other channel. I will link it in the description below so that you can go ahead and check it out if you do want to learn a little bit more about that. And who knows, if you're thinking of leaving ballet, or maybe you already left, or maybe you're just looking for like a part-time thing and you're interested in social media management, you can always reach out to me because this is what I love now. And I'm always here to help a former artist, former dancer find a new career that they absolutely love. And so feel free to ask me any questions. I would be happy to help. I'm out of breath. With all that being said, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for staying until the end. If you did like it, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe, because I post videos just like this one every single week and you don't want to miss them, okay? Anyways, I hope you have an awesome day. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.